Hello and welcome back to Lightworker Training. My name is Tatiana and the topic of today's video is being open versus being clear. So stay tuned for more. All right, so this series that I'm working on right now under the playlist of First Things First, I'm clearing up a lot of misconceptions about light work, light workers, what we really do, what it really means. And this is another topic that I've noticed there's some misconceptions around this idea of being open-minded, open-hearted, having your channels be open, having your chakras be open, your fields of energy be open. And there's some contention around this topic. Some folks say it's good to be open. Some folks say, no, it's not good to be open because then there's no filter. And so you have to close all your chakras. You know, chakras are evil. Some people are saying chakras are bad. It's other people are saying, no, you got to open them. Well, I'm here to clear it up once and for all. I'm not here to be an authority figure of any kind. I'm simply here to present information and what I have discovered to be true. So the cool thing about the truth is it doesn't care what you believe. It is there and it is self-evident. It is something that can be discovered through exploration, openness, right? Here we go. We're talking about openness. The openness to receive information. That's important, right? We have to be able to receive information, but we also have to be able to discern and sort through it. I talked about discernment in my pitfalls video. I think it was the one I did before this. And, you know, we need to be able to take action, which I also talked about, so that we can see the result. And when we see the result, that gives us more information, right? So it's like an experiment. So, so let's be good little experimenters and explore this topic. When you tune in and you ask yourself, really, like, is there a positive aspect to being open? Well, I mean, that seems self-evident, right? And then when you tune into, is there a positive aspect to being closed? Yeah, I mean, you can see where in some situations it would be smart to have, like, say, a door. It's not gonna, you won't be able to enter in if the door's not open, right? But if there's stuff that you don't want to come in, like a snowstorm, you shut the door, right? It's the same thing. I don't know why so many folks are confused about this. It's really very similar, and it doesn't need to be this very complicated mystical thing. We just need to be able to tune in to discern for ourselves, when are the times that I want to be more open? When are the times that I want to have a little bit more of a filter? What are times where I might want to just feel a little bit more shut down? So, you know, if you're in a situation that isn't totally like a controlled environment, like right now I'm in my office, this is a kind of space where I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of clearing on the building, on the land, on the whole area around here. And I'm very comfortable here. I know when something is off. And so this is a space where it's very easy for me to really open up and receive all kinds of intuitive information. Now, I still use my discernment, right? But this is a different kind of state of being than, say, if I'm going out to the grocery store or something. So I don't want to be picking up on all the weird energy in this space that never gets that kind of conscious attention to what's happening in the energy, right? Um, so in that situation, I might want to be a little bit more shielded. So what I'm trying to illustrate through all this jibber jabber is that we need to be able to feel in to opening and closing or partially closing in the moment. We need to be able to feel like our energy fields are responsive in a way that's appropriate to the environment. Now we're still going to have to be, filtering through and discerning and being aware. So just because you have your shields up doesn't mean you can't just check out. Oh, my shields are up, so I don't have to look or pay attention. No, we still need to be aware. We still need to be discerning. But this idea that you should just have your chakras be as big as possible, or you should just completely shut them down or even remove them, which I've tried and it didn't work. I'll try anything. See, I'll try it because I want to know the truth. But this isn't really what's happening as far as I can tell. So at any given moment, your energy fields around your body, your big auric fields or your smaller chakral fields will be larger or smaller naturally depending on what they're doing. So your solar plexus is around this area of the body where food is being digested. So if you're digesting food, your solar plexus is probably going to get bigger. Or if you're about to go out there and do a performance or something, and you need to have that projection of your will and your energy out to the whole audience, your solar plexus is probably going to get really fired up and really big in order to project that energy out, right? So you don't want to say, well, everyone's chakras should be 24 inches in diameter. I mean, maybe that's appropriate sometimes, maybe it's not other times. So I just want to put this on your radar that it behooves us to be able to discern where our energy fields are optimally functioning at any given moment. And so that activity level of the energy field is going to vary. I mean, this just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know what's going on with my hair over here. Okay. Okay, it's going to do its thing. That's fine. I don't know why this is so confusing for people, but I'm going to share with you as we get into these videos ways that you can scan and read energy to be able to tell if your energy fields are in a place where they need to be as far as how open or closed, how active or inactive. Are they really blown out? Do they need to be brought in a little bit? Could be. Are they really shut down and could be a little bit more expanded? Could be. How can you tell? By asking a question and scanning the energy to see. Okay, that's my little piece on being open. I hope that's clear. So now the other side of that is of being open and that being a thing that's open, closed. That's not really what it's about. What it's really about is being clear. So being clear is more important than the size of your field or whatever else is going on. So a lot of times the fields of energy are responding to things, and some of those things might be things that are trying to release up and out. And sometimes those are things that are coming in. Either way, wouldn't it be more helpful for the flow of energy if it's not getting congested and cluttered up in there? If it's clear, if the field is clear, if the channel is clear, if your mind is clear, then you could have your fields be as big as you want and it wouldn't be an issue. See, the issue that some folks have with, people being too open, and it might be that they're too open for that situation, right? Maybe it's more a matter of they're not clear. Okay, so this is like a lot of times folks who tend to have a really open mind might have more of a tendency to be less discerning sometimes. They're just open to any kind of ideas, and that's not a bad thing. But if those things are just taken for granted as being true without any kind of processing or discernment or experimentation to see what's real, then that could be an issue. Okay. And another time I see this coming up is like people opening under the influence of, say, some kind of psychedelics or any kind of drugs or alcohol. People get very uninhibited, right, with alcohol and substances, and very open, right? But there's no discernment there. So it's really easy for, especially with substances, for entities to come in, for intrusive thoughts from the collective field to come in. And then if you don't have discernment, if you're not clear in your mind about what's you and what's them or that, then you might not recognize that, oh my gosh, that's not me. I need to get this out of here. And then you end up walking around possessed, or feeling all funky, because you took on some stuff. But that's not because you were too open, it's because you weren't clear. So it's because there wasn't discernment. It's because it wasn't the right situation. So a lot of times, this is tragic, but I see this happening a lot in spiritual circles where people go to these like medicine circles where they're taking plant medicine, and the people who are running the circles aren't in integrity. And then in this place of being really open and vulnerable, people are being traumatized and sometimes like violated in really bad ways. So it's a problem. And so I can see why some folks might want to go the opposite way and just, shut it all down. I think it's really good to be discerning around this stuff. And I talked about this in trying to think which video it was. Oh, it was Becoming a Clear Channel, about quitting all the substances. And I was talking specifically about weed and how it maybe made more sense for past generations, but also the weed was very different back then. The plant medicines were different back then. The stuff they're coming out with now, it's different. It's very different. So if you're an older guy like me, you probably remember the quality of the weed that we had back in the day. And it was nothing like the stuff that's out right now. So It's been engineered to be many, 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 many times stronger, and just bred for certain qualities, and then oftentimes grown without a lot of consciousness. People growing these medicines for profit instead of for healing. So all those things can lead to not having very good discernment or boundaries. So you need to be careful about who you choose as a teacher, who you choose as a guide. Oh my gosh, I see this happen all the time with people working with beings in the invisible realms. Here's another situation where they open their crown, they open their heart to receiving help from the invisible realms. That's fantastic. However, if you don't have discernment over what being you're talking to, that can be a problem. I've seen this happen again and again, where people think they're talking to some kind of divine and benefic kind of being, and it turns out to be a being that just is interested in energy harvesting. A lot of these things I'm talking about have to do with energy harvesting. So I just, I feel like this is pretty clear. Talking about the difference between being open and being clear. So as I go through these videos, I'm going to be offering a lot of tools and techniques you can employ for clearing energy, for a kind of strengthening energy, because ideally that's where you want to be. You want to be in a place where you're really clear and really strong. Your energy fields are really big and powerful and clear and strong. But there's no point in being really open if your field isn't really clear and strong. So I would invite you to focus on that strengthening. You've got to have the both sides, right? So you've got the open, receptive side, and you need the fierce, strong boundary side too, right? Got to have both. So tune into where you could maybe, and maybe you're very good with boundaries and you need a little bit more flexibility and receptivity. So it's a balance, and we all tend to have our areas where we'll go one way or the other. So that's good to know, because that's going to help you find that balance in those situations, right? Okay, so I think this is good for today. Please, if you have questions, comments, put it in the comments. I'm going to be coming through and answering questions, and happy to share resources. I should have links in the description of some free video meditations where I teach you. I go through a process where I teach you how to do grounding, how to do clearing, how to do shielding, how to sort energies, how to get present, all kinds of things like that. And I'm going to be doing stuff like that in this series of videos too. But I'm always happy to answer questions. And let's see, what else did I want to say? I think that's it. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but yeah, just let me know, and I'll be back soon with some more on these topics of just clearing up some misconceptions and getting down to the truth of the matter, so that from there we can have a really solid foundation to go into the rest of this work. So if there's anything else you'd like me to cover in future videos, I'd love to know that too. All right. Blessings for your day. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time on Lightworker Training. Bye for now.